I'll start off with something. It's pretty fun, this bet, I will say. I mean, we all know sometimes when you have too much fun, you do need to mix in a water. But if, in case you haven't heard, DaRon Bland, he just set the NFL single season pick six record with 5 this season. And there are markets that are offering him to have another pick six this weekend, or on Thursday rather. 14-1 for a DaRon Bland pick six. It seems it's a little fun bet, but seems outrageous. Raybon, is this if you're betting this, you need to mix in a water?
Yes, those are terrible,
horrendous,
terrible odds. So just for some education here, plus 1400 would be about a 7% chance, just under a 7% chance of a pick six. Most games, you're not even going to have a 7% chance of getting one interception. The interception rate per attempt is about 2.5%. So
three for Geno. He's going to, so we could assume he's going to have one interception here, because he's over under. What is his completion attempt? Is probably what, 35-ish, somewhere around
about 35, 30. Yeah, so about 35 attempts. So you're
3%.
You're expecting
so he's going to have one pick. We'll have one
right.
pick, and about 10% of picks are returned for touchdowns in general.
And there's 6-7 players in the secondary.
Yeah, so there's like coverage. A 10-1 chance that there'll be a pick six. In that Geno will throw a pick six. 10-1. Could go to a linebacker, a safety, any of the corners. Could go to a defensive lineman. So you're saying this one specific corner just above the 10-1 odds. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, think about it though. You set the record. You're not going to get any value in this. This is the worst time to buy. Look, if you're a DaRon Bland fan and you want to just throw some couch change and root for it, like the things that are working in your favor here is like Geno might be hurt. He struggles against this type of defense. It's going to be under pressure. And then like maybe the number is outrageous regardless. I'm just saying, I'm just bringing in, you have to mix in a water if you bet this, but
absolutely.
And then maybe like, if a Cowboy like, well, that wouldn't even be a pick six. If I pick it, like if Ed Reed style, if I pick it and then pitch it, that's not a pick six. So I'm saying like if another Cowboy picks it and wants to get him another one, like they might look to pitch it to him. But that's not even a pick six. So yeah, this is right. That wouldn't count as a pick six, and that
I don't believe so.
Out. Yeah. No. So yeah, this is ridiculous. Like it is so far off the true odds. It's not even funny.
Yeah, don't bet an outlier to keep outlying after they already started outlying. Like if anything, if you were just betting, if you want to bet on a Cowboy that hasn't even had an interception yet, I think that's better because the defense is a unit, right? It's, the pass rush forces the quarterback to, speed up his release, and that can force an inaccurate throw, and that can go anywhere. So I would, if you're looking to bet on a pick six or something of that nature with the Cowboys against Geno, don't do it on a guy who's already set the outlier record like 5 times over. Like do it on somebody that's been quiet. You can get much better odds.
Like, it's like in roulette, if it had landed on green 5 times in a row, and then you're like, I'm going to bet green again because it must be 6 now, right? I mean, maybe it's a rigged wheel, who knows? But it is in a sense a parlay. You need him to be on the. This
is if it hit green 5 times in a row, and then they changed the odds to hitting green to minus 400, and then you laid 400 on green. That's what this is. There was a sports book last week that said that actually had this bet out when it hit, and it said DaRon Bland pick 6. Here's the odds, and in parentheses on the sports book it said he has 4 already. When the sports book's trying to remind you, and like, know that it's probably not the best bet you can make. So yeah, mixing a water here.
That's it's very cheeky of them. It's in a sense it is like a parlay. You need the pick, then he's gonna go the length of the field or however far without getting tackled, get in. And all that for 14-1. I get what you're saying. All right. How about the Buffalo Bills? We have a tweet here. Bills to win the AFC 40-1. I mean, look, Buffalo's on the outside looking into the playoffs right now. And, they lost that heartbreaker to Philly. They go on a bye. And then they got a treacherous 2 games coming out of the bye at Kansas City and against Dallas at home. Oh my goodness. Is this worth any look here? Or is this mixing a water time? Gulp, 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 Chris Raybon.
I'm not going to say mixing a water on this one because you said, what is it? 40-1?
40-1. Yeah.
40-1. I mean, listen, Buffalo is 6-6. They're probably going to need help. And they have a tough schedule, but if let's say they run the table and, they beat Kansas City, they beat Dallas, they go to Miami and beat Miami, they go to LA and beat LA, like they're going to be battle tested. And so I don't hate it at those odds. I think that's a solid bet just because it's a long shot. But if Buffalo does what they need to do to get there, they're going to be battle tested, and it's probably means they something turned around for them. So I don't hate it.
Stuckey, we concur here.
Yeah, I like it. No need to mix in a water. I think the Bills are one of 7 teams that can win the Super Bowl. Like that, I really think there's only 7, and it's the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Dolphins, 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys. That's it. They're one of the 7 that can do it. They've been extremely unlucky. They're kind of fixing their defense a little bit. That offense is one of the best in the NFL. Look, they're going to need some help, but they got to pass either the Colts or the Browns. And like the Browns are playing Joe Flacco right now. I don't believe in the Colts. Both those teams could lose this weekend. They're both, one's a coin flip, one's an underdog. The Texans and Broncos are the 2 teams ahead of them before you get to the playoff race. They play each other this week. They did lose the Broncos, which really hurts. That loss kills them because you also lose a tiebreaker to the Broncos. But the Broncos, I think, are going to fade away. So the team I think you have to mainly worry about is the Texans. And if you look at their schedule, like I'm pulling up their schedule right now, I think the Texans win this week. And then, you have the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, the Titans, and the Colts. So that's my only concern, is that because either the Texans or the Colts, they play each other twice too. The Texans play the Browns. It's going to be hard for the Bills to get there. But I do think the Bills are about to go on a run, and the schedule sets up really well for them because you have a bye before Kansas City, who's really not playing that well right now. They match up well with the Dolphins, and they're going to get the Cowboys after a war with the Eagles. So I think the Bills are, and look, this has been one of the unluckiest teams in the NFL. I think they're due to make a run, and if they get in, yeah, boy, I tell you, the 2 seed in the AFC, who potentially draws the Bills instead of the Colts. Oh, what a terrible break that would be. So yeah, I don't hate it, and I was thinking about the timing, like this week versus next week. I don't think it's going to change much because maybe if the Browns and the Colts both lose, which I think it potentially could happen. Maybe you just want to buy it now because one of the Texans or Broncos are going to get the win. So yeah, I don't hate buying that right now. I'm taking a flyer. I think it's a good upside bet.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math in my head. Obviously, it doesn't really work out because rolling over wouldn't be a factor here because it's not necessarily like they have to win out per se, right? Like maybe you just play
no rollover factor.
There's no rollover factor.
Yeah, they're 6-6, right? Aren't they 6-6?
Yeah, they probably can only lose 1. They probably have to realistically win. You have to get to 10 wins. Just looking at the AFC right now, and Denver and Houston play each other. The Colts are gonna,
Colts and Texans play each other twice.
Right. So you have a lot of at least a couple of those teams are probably gonna get to 10 wins, and the Bills are behind in a tiebreaker. So you're gonna need to win 4 out of 5. But if you win any 4 of those 5 games that they have coming up, that's battle testing them right there. So. Texans, Browns play each other too, but no money line rollover because
I think that they would make it probably if they win 4 or 5, which isn't going to be easy. But you don't which loss that could it be? So yeah,
Right.
money line rollover is out of the question.
And it saves you the work. You grab the 4-1. You don't have to work every weekend for it.
Yeah, I might throw a little on this actually.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
Wow. Okay. Not just a mix in a water. It's I'm going to go play it myself. Well done. Well done. How about, again, game of the week here. We've been talking about it all evening long. 49ers and the Eagles, and this thing in advance was 49ers +1, +1.5. Now there's Eagles, +3s out there. It's been insane. I'm a smart guy, right? I grabbed 49ers +1 on Sunday night. Now looking at the Eagles +3, is it a good look here? Do I grab Eagles +3 for a little hedge middle opportunity, Raybon?
I'm going to say no for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think the 49ers are the right side. The Eagles have been the second luckiest team in football. Number two, you're talking about, a 3 to a 3, or what do you say? You have a 1?
I
have a
yeah, a
Niners
1 to a 3.
+1.
Okay,
No.
yeah, you're not like I think you'd have to get like maybe a 3 to a 3 is like the limit, the minimum for me. Like get to that 6 points, but just 4 points, and you're just going.
You're not crossing the number. If you had 3.5, it would be a different story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so and on top of that, from the 49ers perspective, like getting an Eagles +3 probably not super valuable, because I think the 49ers have won about 90% of their games by a touchdown or more dating back to last season, and with Purdy especially. This year, they haven't won a game by fewer than 7 points, and that was because Sean McVay kicked the field goal to cover on the final play. So, the Niners, it's like the Bills a couple years ago. When they win, they tend to win big. Just because it's a quality matchup doesn't necessarily mean the Niners, it's going to be a super close game. Like remember the Dallas game, I think Dallas was +3, +3.5, and look what happened there. So I don't think it's valuable for the specific teams, and I don't think it's valuable because you're not crossing any key number.
Yeah, but before you go, Stuck, it's funny. Remember we mentioned a couple weeks ago that guy that said the Bills either blow teams out or lose outright. His little system there of betting, betting like both sides of it. Essentially, I think it's like 9-2 now, or something. It's some outrageous streak. This that little system we had a couple weeks ago from a Mix in a Water segment. Raybon, you said that you think 49ers are the side here. Stuckey, someone that picks their head up and sees the 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles +3. What the hell am I missing? I'm going to go bet this. Does that person hypothetically need to mix in a water?
I mean, if that's the only reason, yes. I mean, records in the NFL are meaningless, essentially. But if you like the Eagles, sure, bet it. But yeah, I like the 49ers here. Played them early in the week, like anything under 3. I think they're the right side. And you bet them +1. You like them. Why are you going to, and now you have 4 points of closing line value. Why are you going to ruin that position unless something's changed or you had some outrageous middle? Or if you had an enormous bet, which you're not really getting down on Sunday night. So just let it go. You have a good position, and you're not even crossing any key numbers. If there was the only time I would think about that with an NFL side is say Hurts got ruled out, and then you were like, you know what? I think that the adjustment in the market is too much, and now you're getting +10.5, and you have a 1 and a 10.5 or something. But no, you have a good position. I think the 49ers are the right side. There's also blowout risk here. There's a lot of Eagles injuries, and they've played 2 wars. They went to Kansas City, got Super Bowl revenge. Game went right down to the wire. Short week, then you play the Bills, go to overtime. Defense plays 95 snaps with injuries. So you got guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis playing career highs in snaps last week. So they could be just gassed here. And if San Fran steps on them early, as they do to a lot of teams, it could get ugly.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Evan Abrams did say a couple weeks ago that the trend of dogs to favorites when they flip-flop there, it hasn't been a good trend this year, for what it's worth.